So have you ever felt like no ADHD advice works for you? Maybe you try some of the methods to help, maybe medication, journaling, alarms, reminders, calendars, etc., and they work for a little bit, but after a while it kind of falls off. Many ADHDers find themselves stuck in a loop, constantly searching for that one solution that just works, right? But what if I told you that this search itself might be the thing that's holding you back? So in this video, I'm going to dive into why ADHD advice doesn't work for you, why your mindset might be the thing that's holding you back, and what you can do to get yourself out of this cycle. So as a fellow ADHDer, I've been there. When I was first diagnosed, I read every single book on ADHD. I absorbed so much information. When we get diagnosed with ADHD, we immediately want to jump in and find these possibilities of solutions, these ADHD management strategies, hacks. I find myself victim to doing that as well. Part of the problem can be trying to look for all of these perfect solutions. Then we try one out and it doesn't work. Then we try a new one out and it doesn't work. And we get caught up in this constant cycle of finding a solution that's so close, finding out it's not perfect, and then dropping it straight away. And this is what we call the perfect solution fallacy. So what exactly is this perfect solution fallacy that's causing so much trouble? This fallacy is the belief that there is one flawless answer that will solve all of our problems. For us ADHDers, this mindset can be particularly seductive, right? We're often drawn to quick fixes, ideal solutions, partly due to our tendency towards impulsivity and maintaining our focus. But if you think about it, how many times have you heard about a new ADHD management technique, an organization technique, a focus technique, and thought to yourself, this is it. I finally found the perfect solution to my problems. This is going to fix everything. Maybe it was a fancy planner or a strict routine or the latest productivity app. And we dive in with all of this enthusiasm, expecting these miraculous results. And when it doesn't immediately resolve all of our issues, what happens? We find ourselves tossing it aside, convincing that it's completely useless. And one of the problems with this is that online, everybody has a solution, right? Everybody has this perfect hack. And we want something that is going to fix all of our problems. We want some magical supplement that's going to cure our anxiety, or the right kind of organizational technique to cure your ADHD. This quest for perfection often leads to complete inaction. When we constantly seek this ideal solution, we can end up feeling that nothing is worth trying unless it's guaranteed to be a perfect fix. And this becomes a real problem because it's kind of like refusing to use an umbrella in a rainstorm because it won't keep you 100% dry. So for ADHDers, this inaction can be particularly harmful. It can exacerbate our feelings of failure and frustration, stuck in a cycle of searching for solutions, but never actually implementing them. And we can spend hours researching different ADHD management techniques, but never actually putting any of them into any practice because none of them are perfect enough. They are all flawed and they all fall off. And the irony is that this pursuit of perfection actually makes us less adaptable to life. And just before I jump on to the next point, if you do want more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe to my channel for new videos every single week. And this lack of flexibility is a significant handicap, especially when it comes to dealing with, ADHD. So I want to hear from you. Have you found yourself falling into the trap of seeking this perfect solution? Let me know in the comments down below. So why? Why is it so easy to fall for this perfect solution fallacy? Well, the key player in this mental game is what we call dichotomous thinking. This can be particularly prevalent with people with ADHD. Dichotomous thinking is a fancy term for black and white thinking. This is the all or nothing mindset that we can sometimes get stuck in without even realizing it. This all or nothing thinking is a hallmark of the perfect solution fallacy. Dichotomous thinking is kind of like looking at the world through a lens that only sees in extremes. Something's either perfect or it's useless. You're either a success or a failure. We might try a new organizational system, and if it doesn't immediately transform our lives, then we toss it aside thinking, well, that doesn't work for me. And if that sounds familiar, then this can be dichotomous thinking in action. The problem is this thinking isn't just annoying, it's actually making our ADHD harder to manage. The more dichotomous, the more extreme our thinking is, the less adaptable we are to real solutions that could be helping us. Because when it comes to managing ADHD, flexibility is crucial. We need to be able to adapt, to try different strategies, and to make small adjustments rather than big leaps from one thing to another. The problem with ADHD is that we can struggle with task switching. So we're constantly trying different solutions. So we have to start from zero and work our way up to this new solution. And then when it's not perfect, we drop back down to zero again, trying a new solution. So we're constantly wasting time and energy trying to find this perfect solution rather than finding a solution and making it work for us. Falling for this perfect solution fallacy means that we expend more energy and get less back. And this constantly keeps us on a back foot. It constantly keeps us in a failure state. we're more likely to reject solutions that aren't perfect. It impacts our communication, it impacts our relationships, it impacts every aspect of our lives. So this can get us into a real bind, and breaking out of this dichotomous thinking are some of the skills that I work on with my successful ultra-normal members. So if you do want to join us, then sign up for my free relationships bootcamp, where you'll learn the same steps to start turning your relationships around, including with ADHD. So click on the link to grab your spot today. A lot of people with ADHD say, oh, well, calendars don't work for me, or alarms don't work for me, or reminders don't work for me. This expends and wastes more energy than simply sticking with an imperfect solution that you may not like, but is actually effective. This rigid thinking doesn't just affect how we approach ADHD strategies, it seeps into other areas of our lives too. People searching for the perfect partner, the perfect supplement, or the perfect video game. The more we chase these perfect solutions, the less adaptable we become in life. We get stuck in a cycle of seeking perfection and rejecting anything that doesn't meet that standard. The problem is there is no perfect solution to ADHD management. There is no perfect solution to fixing your relationship. So when we're constantly on the hunt for flawless ADHD strategies, we can often end up doing nothing at all. It's like we become paralyzed by this fear of not finding the perfect solution. But it's most important to actually just take action, even when the methods are imperfect. It's far more valuable than endlessly searching for a non-existent perfect fix. And as an ADHD, I've fallen into this trap as well. When I was first diagnosed, I spent weeks researching the best productivity systems, convinced that if I found just the exact right one, then all of my problems would disappear. But in the meantime, my to-do list kept on growing and growing, and I just wasn't getting anything done because I spent all of this time. And this is where the concept of cognitive flexibility comes in. So cognitive flexibility is the term for our ability to adapt our thinking and behavior in response to changing circumstances. The key is learning a solution and adapting it to make it work. The moment you start adapting these solutions that seemingly don't work for you, the more that they will suddenly start to work for you. So it's not about finding the perfect strategy. It's about learning to adapt imperfect strategies to work for you. So how do we become more cognitively flexible? Well, immediately, the first thing we need to do is to start challenging this dichotomous thinking that we have, these all or nothing thoughts. So when you catch yourself thinking, this advice doesn't work for me, this strategy doesn't work for me, try adding a yet to the end of this sentence. It's a small change, but it opens up the possibility of adaptation. Being aware of these thoughts and challenging them leads you to much better solutions because it forces you to step up and start taking responsibility to say, how can I make this work? The next time you're dismissing advice or ADHD management techniques, whatever it is, because it's not perfect, pause and ask yourself, is there a way that I could adapt this to work better for me? And you'll be surprised at how many supposedly useless strategies or strategies that don't work for you become useful when you approach them with this adaptive mindset. The less time you spend looking for a perfect solution and the more time you spend on imperfect solutions and making them work, the more you'll actually end up achieving. And this dichotomous thinking can really impact our emotions as well, especially if you're a fellow ADHDer. So if you want a deeper dive into emotions and how ADHD impacts them, then I'll leave you with this video right here. I'll see you over there.